Yes, sir.
You may lower right hand and repeat and say, spell your name for please.
Careful. That chair is on wheels and there's a ledge next to you, so
Yes.
make sure and stay closer to me than the edge, okay? Thank you, sir.
Dale, Kelly, Kelley.
And
Dale.
what do you do for a living, sir?
Retired,
What did you do before you were
law
retired?
enforcement for 42 years.
And let's go through your law enforcement career. Where did you first become a law enforcement officer?
In 1979 in the city of Atlanta.
And when you were hired, did you have to get it? Well, tell us about your hiring at the city of Atlanta.
July 2nd, 1979 was the first day I started the Atlanta Police Academy. We were there for 12 weeks, and then after you got out of that, you rode with a senior officer for 12 more weeks in field training. I became a patrol officer. I was assigned to Zone 1, which is northwest Atlanta at that time. 83, I was promoted to detective. I did vice for about 6 months. That was during Eldon Bell. He thought all new detectives needed to go undercover and then come out and get in a regular division. I went to sex crimes. I worked in sex crimes, total of 13 years, but whenever they had a sexually related homicide, I would get pulled over and help the homicide detectives work a sexually related homicide. And then in 1996, I was permanently assigned to homicide.
In were you post-certified?
Yes.
Are you still post-certified?
No, I do not keep my mandated.
Okay. And when did you leave the city of Atlanta?
I retired in 2000 from the city of Atlanta, went to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, worked there, started in the jail, worked patrol. I went to CID. From CID, I made sergeant. I was a night shift sergeant for a patrol shift. And then I went to the fugitive unit, the warrant unit in plain clothes. And then from there, I made lieutenant and was over the transport and civil division.
Now, did you receive any specialized training in investigations?
Yes, I mean, I've been as far as California on missing persons, violent crime network training. I've been to Valencia College 3 or 4 times on advanced sex crimes, advanced homicide, crimes, and like that.
Now, during 1999 and around April, could you describe what you were in the homicide division at that time?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury what happens when you get how does that work? Or how do you get assigned cases or what?
Well, okay. You were on a rotation system where you were up on call, and if anybody called for a homicide unit, you would answer and go wherever they asked you to go. You didn't go by yourself. Half the time the whole unit would go. You were just the lead, and they would do other jobs needed at the scene.
And when you say lead, what does that mean to you?
You were up on call, and the case was going to get assigned to you.
And when you're lead, what kind of things do you focus on?
Well, you get to the scene, you try to focus on directing the identification people to do fingerprints some places, sometimes you don't, take pictures and stuff like that. You may ask like the officer, the first responding officer, if there's a witness at the scene or something, you get the officer to take himself and the witness to the homicide office where they could give statements.
And let me draw your attention specifically to April 29th, 1999. I assume you were on call that day.
Yes.
And did you receive a call regarding a unexplained, well, I mean, what kind of call did you receive that day?
The way it works is Zone 3 Unit 2304, which meant he was a day shift unit working 304's beat, came over detective radio and called for a homicide unit. Each zone, and Atlanta still has 6 zones. They all have their own radio frequency. Detective Division had their own frequency, and they would just switch their radio over to the detective frequency and call for a homicide unit.
So it was your turn,
It was my turn.
and where were you told you needed to report to?
He told me to come to the intersection of Avon and Hartford Way Southwest in Atlanta.
And what did you do?
I got in the car with the lieutenant, and investigator Tina Miller also rode with the lieutenant, Tony Biello, and we rode to that location.
And why did Investigator Miller accompany you?
Again, on a homicide, you need as many people as you can out there. We didn't know what we had other than a unit calling for us, and we could always use help.
Okay, so she went along?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you got to that location, what did you observe?
When I rode up, there was a decomposing head in the road standing upright. There's an old black plastic bag to the side, and there's an old mangy, like a stray dog with matted hair and all, kind of nasty, running around out there.
Okay. And do you recall where that skull was located?
It was on the side of the roadway, it was actually on the Avon side, because we used the address of 858 Avon Avenue.
Now, when you're investigating a crime scene, is it important to document information?
It is, yes.
And you document through reports and also pictures?
Well, you call for, I didn't take the pictures, I called for our ID section to come take the pictures, and it's up to them to document their pictures.
Okay. No, what I mean is that it's important to take pictures of
Yeah,
crime scenes,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. May I approach a witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 3 through State's Exhibit 20. Could you please look at those and tell the jury what those are?
They're pictures of the general area of where it was located, and ID had saw certain objects, they put the little plackets up at, and it's,
Could you look through those, please?
yeah.
Thank you.
Whisper, whisper.
Are those true and accurate pictures of what you observed that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd ask to admit States 3 through Exhibit 20, which are photos of the scene.
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Samuel, thank you. Exhibits 3 through 20 are admitted.
And I would ask to publish some of the pictures to the jury as we go through the testimony, as far as a
Okay.
warning.
Thank you. That's what I was waiting for you to ask.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, as we discussed during the process of jury selection, I told you that I would warn you when we were going to show you photographs that are maybe graphic in nature. So I'm giving you a heads up that some of these photographs may be graphic in nature. Thank you. State may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The Zoom doorbells.
Okay. Show you what's been marked as, or what's been admitted as State's Exhibit Number 3. Could you kind of describe that picture in detail for the jury as best you can?
It's an overall shot of the area where the head was found.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Sir, I'm sorry.
If
It's
you
a
could
ju-
pull that microphone towards you, I think that'll be easier as well.
It's an overall shot of the area where the head was found, and the head's actually in the photo to the left here, or my left sitting looking at it, and you see where the patrol cars had blocked off the street.
But I do see some yellow things with numbers
Yeah.
on them. What are those?
Plackets, ID team uses, they see stuff, or maybe an investigator will point out to put a placket, take a picture so that it can be described later in their reports.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, Bittersweets. It is 2 back-to-back dismemberment trials. Accidentally. Yeah, those bells are someone trying to join the Zoom application for court.
And what other items were there other than the placards?
Whether,
I'm sorry. What other items were there than the skull that you described earlier?
there was a black plastic bag. It appeared to have decomposition in it, hair, and fluids.
And was that significant to you as a investigator?
Yeah, later, when the cadaver dogs were called out, other body parts were found in the black plastic bag, and also had fluid in it that ended up being bleach.
Okay. So when you saw those pieces of evidence, I assume that was kind of the first thing that was kind of done at the scene?
Yes, I cannot legally touch any body out there. It's all up to the medical examiner. I can look at it, I can have photographs taken of it, I can note it, but that's entirely up to the medical examiner's office to do any collection of body or body parts.
Were they contacted? Did you guys contact them or?
Yeah, they came out to the scene.
Okay, do you recall who came out to the scene?
Mary Beth Happel and Dr. John Parker.
Okay.
Mary Beth is an investigator for Fulton County Medical Examiner, and Dr. Parker was a medical examiner.
Okay. And what did you do? What did you do next?
Well, we started, hard to run an investigation if you don't know who your victim is, and this one's even doubly hard. We didn't know what sex the person was.
Why is that?
The decomposition of the facial and the torso, we never found it. So you couldn't ever determine a sex at that time. The feeling is the torso contains the guts of thing, and it would smell more, and the animals out there would have eaten it quicker.
Okay. Do you recall what the conditions were like that morning?
Yeah, I noted it.
Would you have noted that in your report?
As I rode over with Lieutenant Biello and Investigator Miller, the weather conditions to be overcast with a intermittent mist, and the temperature was in the low 60s with a brisk breeze.
He's like, yeah, I got my
So
report.
after you got there and after the medical examiner got there, what did you do next?
Nothing could do much other than make a report.
Did you talk to any, do you remember speaking to any witnesses?
Well, there's a gentleman who had found the head. Gentleman's just in a wheelchair, but he wasn't in a wheelchair at that time. I talked with him. I sent him to the homicide office to give a statement, and the officer on the scene took him there for a statement.
Do you recall any other actions that you did out there at the scene that day?
That day, no.
So at this point, all you had was a skull and some plastic bags, pretty much.
Yeah.
Did you find anything else? And on a different day?
On a different day, yes. That's,
Were you called back out to the scene?
yes, went back out there with the medical examiner's office. They had gotten in some cadaver dogs from Cobb County. These people who owned the dogs were not associated with law enforcement in any way. They were just citizens who trained their dogs to become cadaver dogs and would help agencies as they needed it. And they came back out there, and that's when we started finding hands, feet, and other body parts. They were also in a black plastic bag like I described earlier, and they were always double wrapped. There was always 2 bags per body part. That kind of makes sense with me there.
And I don't know, I don't know if you said, do you recall what date you went out to the scene?
The first, it was April 29th, and then this was June 3rd,
So that's approximately, what, a
a
month,
month and a half later
month and a half later?
to get it set up.
Now, is the president, you mentioned bleach earlier, I'm sorry, you mentioned bleach earlier.
Yes.
Is that significant to collection of DNA?
Not for the collection, for the destroying of DNA.
Your Honor, we have not been given an expert notice with regard to this witness.
Your response?
Well, Your Honor, I think that's not, I think it's something that a police officer can, based on police officers' evidence collection, could probably could testify to as within their knowledge.
Okay. If you want to lay that foundation, I likely will allow it. Overruled for now, Mr. Samuel. Go ahead.
Okay. Did you learn about bleach?
Well, DNA, it's not the same as today. This was in the beginning stages of DNA. And
Well, the DNA
a lot of
itself didn't
things
change.
would interfere with DNA. When I worked sex crimes, if there's anal sodomy, the feces would ruin the DNA and you couldn't test it. Learned that bleach and
Where did you
gas,
training
training classes I took
Okay.
that would hurt DNA. Nowadays, they probably can do it even if there's bleach on it.
Well, what did you learn about bleach at that time of your training?
That it would interfere with the ability to do DNA evidence with what they had to test with at that time.
Your Honor, at this time, I believe I've laid the foundation based on his
Samuel?
training.
And we still never got notice of him being an expert. So if he's giving expert testimony about DNA We were entitled to be given notice of that.
Okay. I understand your objection, but it's going to be overruled, and to the limited extent you've been asked the question, I'm going to let him answer it. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think he's already answered it.
I think he has.
Okay. What did you do, after you went out and on the, in June, what did you do next on this case?
There's nothing I could do until, again, you can't start much of an investigation until you know who the person, what sex the person is, who the person is. You have nowhere to start. So Investigator Miller, who worked adult missing persons, is assigned to homicide. She would attempt to identify the body. Medical examiner's office was trying to identify. They could hook up with other medical examiner's offices and do the thing, and hook up and see if they had any information. I retired in 2000.
Okay, well, and that was, you never got an answer by the time you retired?
No.
Okay. Can I just have a moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Samuel?
Cross. Talk about the bleach.
Detective Kelly, my name is. It won't happen a second time.
That's okay.
It won't happen a third time. Detective Kelly, I don't believe we've met before, even though we've been around a long time together. So a couple questions. First of all, you said something about a dog on the scene. Do you have any reason to believe that that dog had ever moved the skull at all?
I believe so. I believe the dog drug it out of the woods. And
Or you're just speculating about that?
there was a video, VHS recording.
Can you stick with the microphone?
There was a VHS recording at one time that showed the dog dragging
One time?
the bag out of the woods. Now, I don't know where it's
Dragging
at
the
now.
bag with the skull out of the woods?
Yes.
There was no detectives out there until after the skull was already there.
VHS recording. That's a security camera. It's
Where'd
so
the
old.
bag go?
Where is the evidence of that?
I'm sorry.
Has anybody ever had evidence of that? Is that in any police report anywhere?
I don't know.
Are you just kind of making it up today?
No.
I've read every report you've ever written, every report every other detective has
You haven't
written.
written. There are reports missing. I don't know why, but there are some reports missing. in
Have you
this
told the
file.
DAs there are reports missing?
Yeah. But I mean.
Which DA did you tell that there are reports missing?
The point. Let the
gentleman
record reflect.
here just questioned me
Uh-huh.
that I had more reports in this file and they're not.
And
nowhere
where's
to
the,
be
where's
found.
the VHS?
I don't know.
Did you tell them there was a VHS recording that's missing? You told
Yes,
Mr. Wilson that? When did you tell him that?
the other day when he called me.
You told him the other day?
Sir?
You told him the other day?
Yes.
Is there a
Called
reason
me
you...
last week. Yeah,
And what else did the recording show?
just that.
Did it show how the skull got there at all?
Just what I described.
A dog pulling it out of the woods? Where
The
from?
bag.
From what part of the woods?
Where's the bag?
Well, it's not in your report, you know that.
I'm telling you, I have reports missing out of this file. This is not my whole file.
Take your time.
It's from the wooded area where when we returned with the cadaver dogs, it was coming from that area where the other bodily parts were found in the woods.
What did the dog look like?
Like it was a stray dog, the hair was all matted and nasty looking.
Was there any dog hair found on the skull?
I don't know.
Was there any testing done of the skull to show that a dog had moved it?
I don't know how you do that because remember the black plastic bag? It was ripped open. The dog was toting a bag and it fell out.
And you saw a video of that.
Yes,
What did you do with
Ew.
the video?
it was put in evidence.
Oh my God.
You know, I think we need to take a break and talk to the district
Yes.
attorney's office for a moment here.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to step out for just a few minutes. It's 2:21. I'll try and get you back in here as quick as we can. Thank you all.
All right, for the jury.
Oh my God, you guys, I am flabbergasted. I'm like not shocked because it's Fulton County, but this is the second witness. This is the second witness. We get this retired APD officer on the stand. He goes, yes, in my report, I notated the weather. It was a cool, brisk breeze, and he's super like detailed in it.
Moment, please.
And then,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Don't wander far, okay?
oh yeah, they're dismissing the witness. Then he doesn't, either he isn't actually telling the DA's office about this missing VHS and or the details in it, or maybe he did and the DA isn't turning it over. So either way, the state has messed
Mr.
up
Samuel,
here.
that witness has now
Second
left the
witness
room.
Well, I have a couple questions. I'd like to know, first of all, whether Mr. Wilson will either corroborate or dispute that he's been given information about video camera evidence that's lost, his reports that are lost, evidence that they knew that the dog had dragged the skull out of the woods into the road. There's no police report about it, and now it turns out his actual statements are missing, all of which apparently he told the DA's office, none of which even comes close to ever having been revealed to us, ever.
Mr. Wilson?
If I could respond to this, Judge, because I was talking directly with this witness on this issue. If the court
Okay.
will allow that.
Sure.
All right. I do have information about the comment about the dog from this witness. We were not able to locate the video. I didn't know there was a video of that description until I had that discussion with this witness. The detectives, Shepard, suspected that there was a dog or dogs in the area that may have carried the head out from the wooded area to the street where it was located.
Suspected.
That's been his theory since the beginning of the case.
Right, but inferring that from the presence of a dog that Mr. McEachern testified to is different than we recovered some sort of surveillance video that showed it, but then we lost it.
Sure, and that was never intended to be introduced into evidence by the state. That's why it wasn't elicited during direct. We
that
had
doesn't
a
help.
video cassette. We had several small mini cassettes. At the beginning, before the case was indicted, those were submitted to a company in the cab and they were transferred over to a thumb drive, which was submitted in discovery. And they're labeled as such, converted VHS. It's in discovery. But that's the only VHS cassette that I've received from APD Annex. The multiple times we've done it, I don't have a VHS cassette.
Okay, hang on. The physical nature of the physical medium in which the state might have it or not have it, I think is less important at this point than does the state have some sort of video that would line up with what this witness is saying he observed? Like some digital video recording of that image?
I don't.
Okay. And so the videos that you're saying you were aware of that were reduced by a private company to a flash drive or something and were produced in discovery, what are those?
Those are all statements, witness interviews.
Okay.
Which have been turned over.
Okay.
That's the only VHS cassette that I've seen in this case. A lot of mini cassettes that have also been converted. I only had one VHS cassette.
Okay. I appreciate that. Again, I think it would be easy to identify it if it was a VHS, in your possession. But I think more importantly is, does anybody know that such a video ever existed, whether on VHS or anything else?
I didn't have a documentation of that in the Detective Calhoun's report. I didn't have documentation of that in Detective Shepard's report. And I didn't see any reports that Detective Kelly had written that elicited that information. And of course, all the reports that I have from Detective Kelly appeared to be complete.
Okay.
I had no reason to believe they weren't. But, so like I said, I never intended that this information would come in because I didn't have a way to authenticate it. Other than that detective testimony, I knew that wouldn't have been permissible to elicit it. He had just him testifying to it.
Okay.
I never intended for that to come out.
Mr. Samuel? I think the answer to your first question is, well, actually, to be honest, now that I'm trying to put it in words, I'm not actually sure I'm clear on what the answer is. And that was why I was trying to make the distinction between the VHS and the video.
Yeah. Let me explain to you how I see the problem. We have been working on this case, Mr. McDermott in particular, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for Lord knows how many months at this point. He's been in communication with the DA's office. There's been a lot of open file. And yet apparently they're not telling us about evidence that's lost, about videos that are lost, about their second witness on the stand who's saying he was the chief investigator in the case and some percentage of his reports are lost. Now, either the DA's office says they were oblivious to all of that and they learned that the same time I did, or they've known it all along and didn't tell anybody. Meaning you, us, the destruction of evidence, the loss of evidence that may be important, the loss of police reports from witnesses, from a chief investigator from the original crime scene. He says his reports are missing, and nobody's telling us that the witness is just going to, blurt that out on cross-examination for the first time. And, this business about bleach is not in his report. There's references to bleach in the report, but according to the crime lab that we interviewed, it had nothing to do with bleach in the bags. It was bleach that was done by the crime lab to clean the bones.
And that's a matter for cross-examination.
Well, but he's saying, now he's saying, I've got bleach in the bags. There's no report anywhere that says that.
And again, that's a matter for cross-examination unless there is some report that has not been provided to you. But I'm going to ask you to put a pin in that for a moment and revisit this with Mr. Fawcett or Mr. Wilson. I'm still not sure I understand the answer to the question, which is, before Detective Kelly took the stand, did the state have an understanding that he believed there were other reports that he had made that were missing, number one, and number two, that he believed there was a video showing what he's described about a dog with a bag in its mouth pulling it into the street, which was containing some body part or other? Two questions. What are the answers to those two questions?
Yes, I was providing that information last week when I spoke with him.
Okay. And what efforts did you take to determine if such evidence did in fact ever exist and or was lost or in your possession?
Well, I went back through the file to see if there were additional reports by Detective Kelly. So the reports from Detective Kelly, I sent him portions from the file that we turned over. I went through our additional discovery. I saw additional reports that were turned over. Similar reports to the first one. They were 1 or 2 pages, so not what he's discussing. But I wasn't able to locate any additional reports by Detective Kelly, and that's been through the several times that I've gone through the discovery.
Okay. Okay, so you were aware that Detective Kelly believed that there were other reports that were not in your file?
That was last week, yes.
Okay, but I understand you only became aware of it last week, but you did become aware of it at some point.
That's correct.
And what about the second question, which is, were you aware that Detective Kelly believed there was some sort of surveillance video that had been recorded at the time that reflected what he's described?
Yeah, that's the same conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you disclose, and I'm not implying here that you were obligated to, we can have that conversation in a moment. My question though is, did you disclose to the defense at any time that Detective Kelly believed that there were reports that were missing or that he believed there was a surveillance video that was missing?
I did not have that discussion. No.
Okay.
Oh.
Mr. Samuel, I think I've gotten the answer to those questions. Go ahead.
Well, I have the same. The first question says, why would you not disclose that to the defense? That we're going to put a witness on the stand who, in essence, is going to ambush you on cross-examination because you think defense counsel. You have all of his reports. We know you don't. So if you cross-examine him, you're going to find out that he's going to say, oh, that's absolutely true. I have got additional reports. They just were never given to you.
What obligation does he have to disclose to
The
you?
prosecution has an obligation to report missing evidence, right? A VHS camera. He can't just say, you know, it's missing, so I'm just not going to bother asking questions about it on direct examination and let the defense attorneys walk into a trap where the witness can say, oh yeah, what other videotapes are missing? Do they have a videotape of the crime being committed they haven't told us about that was lost? I mean, this is somewhat not the most important thing in the case, whether the skull was dragged out of the woods or wherever it came from. I'm just very concerned if by witness number 2, we're discovering that the prosecution knows there's missing evidence, missing surveillance cameras, missing police reports. They know that that's true, and they're not even telling us about it. It's bad enough that they're missing, which is understandable after 20 years to some extent. It's not understandable why they wouldn't tell us.
So the question then, Mr. Samuel, is what relief would you have the court give you in light of the fact that it wasn't disclosed to you? Is that not something that you can remedy on cross-examination and with this witness and argument?
I have no idea what he's going to say because I have no idea what this witness is going to say that hasn't been disclosed to us. The whole point of discovery in a criminal case is you give us your witness statements. Now it turns out he knows a lot more about this case.
I understand.
Did they know? The
But that wasn't my
prosecution
question.
knows.
My question was, what remedy would you have me fashion to address this issue if I agree with you that this is a problem? Is it go talk to the detective and figure out what he's going to say before you have to cross-examine him in front of the jury?
I was actually going to suggest that you tell the jury, disregard the witness's statement as of now. At some point later in the trial, if they want to bring him back after disclosing to us the statements he gave to them that's missing from what they gave to us, if there's something more than the VHS, something more about the bleach, something more about whatever I haven't, stumbled upon yet. When a witness talks to them, that's a witness statement also that hasn't been turned over to us. Not just the witness statement that's lost, but what they told him, what he told them last week is a witness statement that hasn't been disclosed to us. You can't interview a witness, find out relatively important information and say, I'm not going to put it in writing, so the defense attorney's never going to learn about it.
Understand? Thank you, Mr.
I would ask that the witness you tell the jury not to pay attention to what the witness has testified to, and we'll bring them back later in the trial if appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel.
After the prosecution does what it's supposed to do.
Response from the state?
Mr. Fawcett?
Yes, I think I could understand, still wouldn't agree with it, but I could certainly understand Mr. Samuel's position if we were going to take his, I guess where he's going with it, there's some nefarious intent, some bad faith on the part of the prosecution to do that. I will say I am not immune to oversight or overlooking items, but hindsight I would have. But I will say this: I had no intention on not turning that information over. I didn't think it was of any consequence. I thought at the minimum it would benefit the state. But finding that information out on the Friday or the Thursday before the trial, I did think that was somewhat of an ambush. And again, also at the same time, I would say this. I believe the defense has contacted just about every witness that we've had on the witness list since the beginning of this trial. Detective Kelly's name has been in the discovery. Since the discovery was turned over, there are 3 total detectives, and I know for a fact they've subpoenaed detectives from the patent investigation. And so if they had called the Detective Kelly, he would have been willing to speak with them. But to infer that there's some nefarious intent in the process of just simply preparing for trial and interviewing the witnesses, I think it's a bit much. At a minimum, at a maximum, I can understand the court we're going to instruct the jury to disregard the last statement, but to instruct the jury to disregard the entirety of his visual observations and testimony about that when he arrives at the scene.
Tell the jury to disregard the witness pointing at us and throwing us under the bus, saying that either we're liars or we're sneaky and didn't turn over something we were supposed to.
I don't believe there's any
Look at this guy.
reason for the court to decide in that manner.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. Let me try that again. Has the defense spoken or attempted to speak to Detective Kelly prior to today?
We have not, Your Honor, and I'm looking for the state's witness list that was sent to us currently because I don't think we were ever given any contact information for him, and he's retired, so usually not kept by the police department.
Interesting. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
That the state provided does list Detective Kelly as Detective Dale Kelly, APD.
Okay.
So,
Ooh.
That doesn't actually answer my question. Is your answer that you haven't attempted to contact Detective Kelly because you weren't provided contact information and you weren't able to otherwise locate him because he's retired?
That wouldn't be 100% honest, no.
Okay.
If I could say, I'm not sure the blame should be on us.
I'm not implying that I'm blaming you. I'm asking what information did the defense have that they could have exercised in terms, right? I'm just trying to understand the
access
scope
argument.
of this. It'd be one thing, for example, if y'all had tried to contact the detective and he'd refused to speak with you. That's what I'm trying to figure out, so.
I understand that's your question. I'm not quite sure the consequence of it. If we trust the prosecution, that when they give us the reports, we have the reports. If we have to go and consult all 18 of the witnesses on the list now, all 30 of the witnesses last week, and all 150 in the original list, and say what is missing from your police reports, this case wouldn't have been ready to be tried this year.
Okay.
But
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. So I still think that the answer to the way to resolve this in the most expeditious manner is for y'all to go into that conference room with Detective Kelly and find out what he's going to say is missing from his report. Because whether or not Mr. Fawcett should have told you is a different matter than whether or not this detective can testify truthfully about what he believes happened in response to questions. Mr. Fawcett is correct that they didn't solicit that testimony. And to the extent that you believe you've not been given complete information, Mr. Fawcett has made representations about what additional information he believes there is. And you can ask Mr. Detective Kelly those questions while we wait and bring the jury back in. I don't think, it's 2:40. I feel like an initial conversation with that detective to find out what else he's going to say and how many reports he thinks are missing. That's a fair conversation for y'all to have before I decide what to do about his testimony, or to simply have him retake the stand and let's continue his cross-examination with you having the benefit of the additional information that he believes is missing. Mr. Fawcett, or Mr. Wilson? I think he's technically your witness, but.
Yes. And so the court's going to go in, would the court allow a recess for them to speak with the witness?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm proposing.
I think that's the way to do it.
Okay. So, Mr. Wilson, if you will go and gather Detective Kelly, and y'all can either discuss it in the lobby or you can go into that conference room in the atrium there, or you can go in that conference room and discuss with him what items he believes are missing or that sort of thing. Thank you. We are in recess until 3:00, or if y'all come back sooner than that or later, tell me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was just sitting there like, his hand was like mushed like this on the side of his temple for a few minutes there. So I don't know if he was really listening all that intently. Guys, this is seriously the second witness. The first witness was just like, I'm the one who stumbled upon this head in the road and I poked it with a stick. Then we get this retired APD officer who is telling us about, showing up because there's a report of this head in the middle of the road. He's very detailed on one hand, and then suddenly he has no details about seeing a VHS with a dog carrying a plastic bag out of the woods and sprawling the head out in the middle of the road, ripping the bag open, but says he points right at the defense table as if he handed it over personally to one of the individuals, maybe Vincent Fawcett, sitting there. This is the second witness. This is the second witness. And I think there's a problem here. So one of the things that the defense seems like they're getting at is like, look, he could just drop more bombshells up there. This is not the same as a layperson witness that just blurts something out that nobody knew about. This is an officer that was part of the investigation. So their work, everything that they're doing is part of their investigation. Anything that might be inculpatory or exculpatory should have been provided and turned over to the defense. And if they didn't have this before trial started, sure, you can still cross-examine this witness, but I don't know. There's also the issue of your strategy could have been different if you knew all of this information before trial started. And for what it's worth, I don't think that this witness, I don't think where we're at hurts the defense. I don't think this revelation hurts the defense. I think this revelation is very bad for the state. Because one of the first things that the jury is seeing is either you have this person who, while he was working, he's retired today, sure. But while he was working, he was very selective in what he wanted to notate, and is just volunteering things now that might sound good, or the prosecution isn't doing their job right. But still, oh my God, why is Fulton County like this? And again, it's not just limited to Fulton County, but we went over to Liberty County for the Casotis trial. We had a couple of objections, but we didn't really let the jury out, we got to fight real quick. We just didn't have that in that trial. We're here for like 2 witnesses, and we're back at it. Yeah, where's the McDonald's videos? Oh my goodness. And the chat, for like 2 seconds, the chat was like, wow, this guy took a report. There's a report with details. How nice. Ripped the rug out right from under us. Oh my gosh. I just don't even know. I also want to say for Always Forever for Life, Relayed, she got to check out a TikTok live with Doug, and mentioned, we kind of could tell from the body language and the verbiage, but he did not want his client to take the stand. So that was interesting. He's also going to be guesting on with Justice Served TV today at 6 p.m. Eastern. I think their link is in the description. So just keep that in mind. Also, we have Tay-Biz at 6:45. We got the whole lineup today. We watched the Casotis trial because it's like, cool, let's see Doug in another trial. I had no idea it would go so crazy. Let's watch this trial because it's Simone Hilton. No idea we'd be here already. I just don't know how this always plays out this way. GV, and thank you, GV says, is it bad that this feels like coming home from a vacation to a normal county? Like, we left Fulton County for one case, we came back, and here we are. And we did the Lawrence Doherty trial, and even though there was like some theatrics, really with the defense attorney, and at times the prosecution went on and on and on when they could have just kept something to 10-15 minutes. There wasn't any, like, fighting, mistrial motions, weird stuff going on. We get back to Fulton County, we're home, guys. This is where the chat gathers. Yeah, can we go? Let's go look at the way he pointed. Hold on, let's pause it so I don't... He was still on the stand. That was funny. Oh, right here. Let's just watch the pressing all over again.
From what part of the woods? Well, it's not in your report, you know that.
I'm telling you, I have reports missing out of this file. This is not my whole file.
Take your time.
It's from the wooded area where when we returned with the cadaver dogs, it was coming from that area where the other bodily parts were found in the woods.
What did the dog look like?
Like it was a stray dog, the hair was all matted and nasty looking.
Was there any dog hair found on the skull?
I don't know.
Was there any testing done of the skull to show that a dog had moved it?
I don't know how you do that because it was remember the black plastic bag? It was ripped open. The dog was toting the bag and it fell out.
And you saw a video of that?
Yes,
What did you do with the video?
it was put in evidence.
You know, I think we need to take a break and talk to the district attorney's
Take a
office for
break.
a moment here.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to step out for just a few minutes. It's 2:21. I'll try and get you back in here as quick as we can. Thank you all.
All right, for the jury.
A golden moment. All right, so we'll get caught back up in real time. The defense attorney is Donald Samuel is the one who made the one without the ponytail that was making the arguments about this issue. And Aaron said it earlier. Something McDermott. I forget the first name. Is the defense attorney with the ponytail. Vincent Fawcett is the lead prosecutor. Mr. Wilson is the other male prosecutor, and then Simone Hilton is the sitting in the middle. You guys know her from the YSL trial. Yeah, so Brittany, did you just get here? Yeah, so here we are. We're back in Fulton County. Missing reports, maybe missing VHS. Maybe the VHS didn't exist at all, and this officer's just making something up. Because it is weird that he took very detailed notes about the weather conditions, but didn't put anything in his reports about this VHS and seeing the dog come out of the woods with a plastic bag. Okay, Joel McDermott. I'm just going to leave this up here for like 5 minutes on the screen so everyone can learn it. Oh my goodness. Is it us? Like, is it like chat? We get together, we think we're just gonna watch something normal, and the universe won't ever give us a normal trial to sit through and watch. And we'll say D Wood to not out you. But yeah, forgot this is 1998. Factual lie was hilarious earlier. Spelling out the abbreviation to make sure everybody in the chat knew what a VHS was. Like, don't make me feel old. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, Jim is reading the report. Yes, this is a 1998 cold case. Oh my goodness. Have they taped over it? Did it erase itself? Oh, there's is it Instagram now where you can put like pictures in comments? That would be a pretty cool feature. And I think, can you do it in Twitch or Kick or one of those other like sort of YouTube competitors? Yeah, this is Fulton, this is normal. Kim, I mean, I don't think a mistrial would be granted here, but again, no matter how we proceed, the jury just saw a police officer, granted he's not in uniform, point at the prosecution table and say, I gave evidence to you guys that we don't have. Okay, so TikTok allows it too, so Instagram and TikTok. Hey, Rona. Welcome aboard. We are in our usual form today, watching a Fulton County trial with missing reports and possibly kicking a witness off the stand. The usual for Fulton County trials. I agree. Yeah, DTN says Georgia District Attorney operates on the grace of the judges. Jordy shows up. If you say McDonald's tape 3 times, Jordy will appear. But the footage won't. Just the whole time. We got somebody, I don't know if they're coming back into the courtroom or if someone's just randomly walking in front of the camera. Oh. Well, almost Brooklyn. Not really a motion for mistrial, but this witness could get Tyrone Dentist. How do you past tense Dennis? All right, here we go. Okay, Madam Court, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we took a break at 3:40, so that y'all, I'm sorry, 2:40, thank you, so that y'all could go and talk with Detective Kelly. And then after that, let me know what everybody thought in terms of what we need to do. Mr. Samuel, have you had an opportunity to talk to Detective Kelly?
I have, and he answered a couple of questions that were very helpful, and he explained what police reports he thought were missing and described them. He doesn't have anything more to say about the VHS. We're probably going to steer clear of that. We still think that ought to be excluded, that you should tell the jury to disregard that testimony because it's missing evidence. But I'm prepared to go forward. The missing reports deal with the June discovery of evidence, and he explained to me what was in his report, so I'm not walking into any dangerous territory there. And there's an issue about bleach, which is concerning, but we talked about that, and I think we both understand now the bleach issue, which you'll hear when we testify.
On cross. Okay.
A little bit of hearsay on both sides with the bleach, but I think we're in agreement that that's what we're going to do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fawcett, it sounds as if we've resolved this issue for purposes of having Detective Kelly come and retake the stand. It sounds as if the only general editorial I'm being requested or, ruling is to instruct the jury to disregard Detective Kelly's testimony about a VHS or some sort of video. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I'm not objectionable to that, Judge.
Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll have Detective Kelly return to the stand. I'll have the jury brought back out. When the jury returns, I will instruct them that they are to disregard any testimony from Detective Kelly regarding a surveillance video showing a dog. And then Mr. Samuel can resume his cross-examination.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm ready for the jury.
Our artwork and humor from the chat while they bring in the jury. Hold on, we gotta cue this up from Aaron. Doo, doo, doo. Oh wait, does it not include? Oh, I gotta screenshot it with your text in it. Hold on, let's redo this.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, in a moment, Mr. Samuel is going to resume his examination of this witness. Before he does, I'm just going to instruct you that this detective's testimony regarding a surveillance showing a dog, that information, that I am instructing you to disregard that testimony. Do you understand? Any problem with complying with that instruction? Okay. Thank you all. Mr. Samuel, you may resume your examination.
Thank you. Detective Kelly, you mentioned on your direct examination something about bleach, and I want to clarify that as well. am I correct that you don't have any independent knowledge that there was bleach in the bags? Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. In fact, what you've learned was that the bleach was put on the jawbone and on the skull at the crime lab or at the medical examiner's office, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So there wasn't bleach in the bags. There was decomposition of
Fluid.
flesh and whatever, but there wasn't bleach that was put in the bag,
No.
correct?
Yes, there's an understanding between me and somebody else.
Speak up a little bit for these old ears.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, all right. All right, now, you indicated before that you were missing some police reports, right, or at least one. And during the break, you and I had a quick conversation, right?
Yes, sir.
And the police report that's missing is the one dealing with the second time you all went out to the scene. The first time is in April, the second time is in June. Is that correct?
Well, I was provided more reports that I did not have or was not given to me at this time. And then the one I'm referring to now is 6/3 of 99.
Right, and that one you don't have and nobody has, but you and I discussed it, so it's as good as if we had a police report,
Yes.
right? Okay. So in June, you go back out there and you're in the same general vicinity or somewhere out there, is that right?
The wooded area,
Wooded area.
Yeah.
You're not on the road anymore.
no, sir.
And now we have black plastic bags, no bleach or anything, but black plastic bags that have different parts of the skeleton, frankly, right?
Of human remains, yes, sir.
Human remains, okay. And you gathered those up and they all get sent to either the medical examiner or the crime lab, correct?
Well, no, I did not gather them. I did
You were
not
present.
touch. I was present when
Yes.
it was being done. The medical examiner's office was there. They took custody of them immediately.
Right, and they'd take them either to the Fulton Medical Examiner or eventually the crime lab, or someone we'll be hearing from later on in this trial.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you actually see where the black bags were found in the wooded area? Were you watching as they were collected, even though you don't put hands on them?
Yes.
Okay. And the people who were putting hands on are
Medical examiner.
they wearing gloves?
Yes.
I'm sorry. We have a
Medical
problem. Double
examiner.
problem. My ears and your soft voice.
Medical examiner and their investigator that was out there.
And they wear gloves, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gloving.
Right. And so on these bags, if there's DNA evidence on any of these bags, presumably it's not going to be crime lab people or detectives because you all are too careful about that, right?
They were. I was not touching anything.
Right. You don't touch them, and they're wearing gloves like you see the crime lab people on TV always doing.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
They have other profiles.
Now, were these bags buried?
I don't remember. Some of them were buried very shallow.
Okay. So just kind of give us an overview. You're in a wooded area. They're like buried under leaves, or did you have to use shovels to dig dirt out?
I don't recall.
Okay, fair enough. It's 25 years ago.
Yes.
There were paths through the wooded area. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Were some of the bags just simply placed on a path?
I don't recall if they were placed simply on a path or not.
Okay, well, you wouldn't know. Placed is a verb that you wouldn't know, but were they located on the side of the path or right in the path?
I'm going to say on the side.
Okay, so anybody walking on a path would have seen the bag, presumably.
You would think, yes.
Okay, and it's now June of 1999.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the first time, as far as you know, that those bags were ever moved from the path or the side of the path.
Yes.
Was there any evidence that you remember, and I know you don't have the report, it's missing, but in your memory, do you remember seeing loose dirt as if other people, the cadaver dogs, were digging up the ground as opposed to the bags being on the
I
surface?
don't recall.
Very good, okay. Those are my questions, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, redirect?
They just have one.
Sure.
I think he said he needed a moment.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You are excused as a witness. State may call its next witness.
We call Tina